Hello there, everybody. This is the last game of round 3 for the Hybrid Major Glitches Tournament. This is game 3 between Osse and Malmo. We are tied 1-1 currently. I wonder if we can get that on the little screen there. Anyway, this is Hybrid Major Glitches. For those of you who don't know what this is a mode where the logic takes a lot of the overworld glitch stuff, which has been known to certain aspects of the community for a while, and adds in 4 underworld clips, but these have serious logical implications, which hopefully we'll get into as we go through the seed here. Now, our runners do start with the boots, which is one of the premier things about overworld glitches, hybrid major glitches, no logic and all that racing. Mainly because the boots are just so much fun to use with clipping out of bounds on the overworld. And there's so much of an advantage to find in terms of making these clips easier that we just start with them outright. Anyway, we are off. We get some bombs in Link's house. Always nice to have some early bombs. There's a lot of bomb walls we can hit from the word go. And we'll see which of the water-based checks we're going to hit first. Is it going to be Hobo or is it going to be Island? We're doing an Island check first. And just a little cash. We get a map check from Malmo. I see 2 crystals with a red pendant on Hera. So, Pendant Hera isn't necessarily the best. It's sort of the nexus in a lot of glitch modes. So we'll see it regardless, but I just don't think we're going to wind up killing the big worm at the end. Anyway, we're getting a fast hobo check out of both runners here after finding junk on the island, and we are rewarded with flippers. So, in case those of you who missed it, that basically means that fake flippers were necessarily required in order to get those flippers, which is a feature that you can find in overworld glitches and higher in terms of glitch modes. We found the map in the Sanctuary, which means that there's just a small key left in terms of dungeon items that could come into play later, depending on how Hera and Swamp wind up looking. And we find a bow in the Bonk Rocks. That lets us complete Eastern right away, as long as our runners are comfortable with the Dark Rooms. And Eastern is a crystal, so we might see that early play. Certainly will dictate which way the runners decide to go in their Light World checks. It's very common for Kakariko and such to be put off until later, because there are several fetch quests involved in the town there. And being able to do them all in one go is preferable. Nice bit of cash in the Lost Woods drop. Just some blue rupees on Lumberjack ledge, so Aghanim gets to live today. There's no reason for our runners to go kill him at this point. Actually, I guess there might be some very obscure way of requiring Aghanim kill to get to the Pyramid Fairy, but that's unlikely. We find the shovel in Lost Woods. I wonder what Osse is searching for with the shovel right now. Trying to get a couple of kills, setting up some tree pulls. He's going in the opposite direction of the force that Malmo did, so he's going to be checking Lumberjack last in this little loop, and will likely be heading up to Death Mountain right away using what we call the Lumberjack DMA. This will spit him out up near the Ether Tablet, so we can go into Hera right away. Dark Room navigation is not required in this mode. Neither are bomb jumps. Alright, so Malmo has decided to go into the town. We do see the Cane of Birna on the Spectacle Rock ledge. So far, nothing... Oh, we find a Moon Pearl. Never mind, it wasn't nothing. We find Moon Pearl and Glove inside Blind's hut, so the early Kakariko play is very nice this time around. The Cane of Birna is also nice as an early weapon, because we haven't found any arrows yet. Granted, we will find plenty in Eastern, should that possibility arise soon. Malmo, continuing with the Kakariko checks, finds a bottle, so there's one of the fetch quests out of the way, or will be soon out of the way. Orphaning sick kid until later is often forgotten. That you forget that you didn't check it, and then you find a bottle much later, and all of a sudden it's a real chore to get back to Kakariko. But that won't be the case here, as there's a bottle sitting there inside the well. Also, is deciding to go for the old man, doing some darkroom navigation that isn't required, but will net him, at the very least, the save and quit point on the mountain, which is very nice to have. Some blue mail in the chicken hut. That does make certain death warps a little harder to do, and death warps might be on the table, even though we have the Moon Pearl, because Mirror is your only other method of getting back to a dungeon entrance quickly, should that routing possibility arise, for things like doing the escape or many other different types of dungeon dips. Alright, so the sick kid had some arrows. So Malmo at least has a weapon, which is very helpful for, I assume, what will be a desert dip very soon here. Meanwhile, I'll say doing a King's Tomb drop. He can go one of two ways from that clip off of Death Mountain, and he decided to hit King's Tomb first. Unfortunately, while he was doing that, I missed I missed what Malmo saw in the library. Obviously wasn't anything, because she didn't go for it. Maze Game has the red mail. I don't think we're getting that one. Oh, we are. Never mind. Still red mail in the race game. Heading down toward desert. I'll say is now heading over towards Sahasrara and also Eastern, so that should be where we see him go for the next little bit here. Sadly, no mushroom or bottle to take advantage of a possible after Eastern set of clips. But there are some arrows in the back there that can speed up a couple of rooms for, I'll say, inside Eastern, like the Stalfos kill room. As well as getting past these enemies without taking unnecessary damage. And we get the lamp inside desert, so that means that desert is completable right now, provided you feel comfortable enough with arrow landmo. But I do imagine that it's very possible that Malmo does not try to kill landmo here, because the arrow fight is rather tight in terms of arrows, especially if you're not experienced at the fight. It takes a minimum of 12 arrows, but you also have to go through a kill room beforehand. So I could see ammunition being a bit of a problem. There's our second item out of desert. So Landmo doesn't even have a worthwhile item. And so from here, I'm guessing that Malmo will just do the outside desert checks. But I could be surprised. Nope, we're going outside. I'll say preserving some arrows by using the pots inside the kill room. Could have saved a couple of seconds there, but opted not to. I mean, arrows are still going to be interesting to keep together here. Now, Eastern being very helpful with its layouts. Just need to find the Igor in the dark room here. Gets him. There's the small key. And upstairs we go. As Malmo is finishing up a couple of the overworld checks here. Finds mitts. Oh boy. Early mitts. Now, myths are actually not a thing that we want to see in these runs because that usually signals either a smith chain or an ice palace dip. Luckily, we don't have a... Actually, no. I think I think that ice palace is technically in logic right now for some checks in there. We find a hammer. Oh boy. I think outside of the fire source, the game is telling you, hey, maybe we should go to ice. Oh man. I wonder when we'll see that out of these runners. But first, Malmo's going to check the back of Escape. Nice quick check to hit as soon as you find your first gloves. It's also going to check King's Tomb. We typically don't see this because we usually hit King's Tomb way before we ever come close to finding myths. Yeah, I'll say is very lucky. Doesn't have to go back in for the big key chest in Eastern. Found all 3 items. Now Malmo's going to go into the back of Escape here. These 3 chests are very easy to hit from here. Yeah, Ice Palace is certainly interesting because there's 2 checks that you cannot get in Ice Palace without the fire source. We find Cane of Samaria and the key in back of Escape there. That might inform how Malmo decides to route the Escape section later. Might actually use that key to unlock the Dark Cross. However, we find the big key in the Hera Peg cage, so upstairs Hera is available. If we get lucky with the item placements, we might not need to use that small key in this dungeon for the basement, and we can use that for Swamp instead of trying to use the sewers key that Malmo just found. Instead of doing the Lumberjack DMA, Malmo is doing the front door DMA. Certainly a lot going on in this seed so far. Ooh, these these Moldorms are going to be a bit tricky to get through here. We don't have a whole lot of health in this seed. Malmo has the red mail from that early Kakariko dip, but Osse does not have that. Has to be very careful about what damage he decides to take. Getting close to a good amount of money for Zora here. I believe he does have over he has over 400 now. Not quite enough to possibly go to Zora after all of this Paradox Cave stuff, but maybe we'll get lucky. Find one more 300 up here. I'm actually surprised Malmo didn't try to climb Hera there. We found one item inside, and she could go and kill Moldorm. But instead, we find the Ice Rod over in Paradox Cave. We don't know if Turtle Rock is required yet, but that is a very nice location for the Ice Rod. It's not going to be on a wild goose chase. We know where the Cane of Samaria is. The only thing we're missing there is the Fire Rod to be able to really go after Trinix from here. Moldorm's being a bit of a bother. Oh! A bad jump from Malmo. Gets soft-locked inside the rocks there after trying to do a Light World T-Rock climb clip there. Not the worst thing in the world. I mean, we're still on the mountain. It's an unfortunate loss of time, but I don't believe it will be the deciding factor here. So now I think we're getting a Graveyard Ledge check out of Osse here. Meanwhile, Malmo's going to go across the bridge pretty normally here. Use the hammer rather than clipping up to the clouds. The Dead Rock being fantastically in the way. Getting bopped by all sorts of enemies here. Alright, we do get that fairy from Malmo. Back up at full strength. So interestingly, the Paradox Cave had a lot of health. Osse went from 3 hearts, actually I think maybe 4, all the way up to 6. After this graveyard ledge clip, though, Osse is going to go right into the hole here, which will houlihan him, give him some money, which will be very helpful for a possible Zora check after doing South Shore, which is, I think, be a next item on Osse's agenda. As Malmo decides to go through Paradox Cave, we'll get that Ice Rod. But sadly, I don't think there's anything else up there. I mean, the health is certainly nice. It's not too much, so Death Warps are still not the worst thing in the world. Half Magic is also very nice, especially for Osse, as he hasn't found the hammer or a sword yet, so being able to essentially increase the amount of ammunition you have for your magic items, that can be very helpful for a lot of things, especially these upcoming Moldorms in a mini Moldorm cave. We also get the red boomerang outside the dam that does unlock our stun prize. Actually, I think the Ice Rod also does unlock it. But you have to actually kill the frozen enemy and not hammer it. One of those weird little prize pack thingies. A very clean set of kills of those Moldorns without even resorting to any magic items there. That was pretty sweet looking. There's a bottle. So Kakariko looking a little more appealing. And a chest turn for the last chest in there. Very nice. Alright, so it looks like after checking Graveyard Ledge, Malmo is also going to houlihan here. As Osse heads over to Ice Rod Cave. Now, he's already done Eastern at this point. Oh, interesting. Malmo isn't even using the houlihan for money. I mean, she has over 1,200 rupees, so she doesn't really need it, and is instead using it to shortcut getting down to the South Shore. Nice little way of... I'm not entirely sure how much of a shortcut that is, compared to just saving and quitting outside the... from getting the Graveyard Ledge item. Maybe it's not that good, but you do get to preserve whatever health you had. You don't wind up being at, 3 or 4 hearts after a save and quit. It's still an interesting decision. Alright, so we get some water walking out of Osse here. Going to check out the waterfall all the way up through Zora. We do have the cash for it. Water walking actually not doing that much because we do have the flippers. Which actually makes the Zora Ledge item that much more annoying to get to. Water walking lets us get the Zora Ledge item much quicker. But there's not really a way to preserve it into Zora's domain here. Actually, I don't think there is a way at all to do so. Regardless, it's a piece of heart, so we don't really care about it. Getting some nice jukes out of that mini Moldorm on Malmo's side. There's another bottle off of Zora. Has a fairy pre-filled inside of it. I hope that future Death Warps don't wind up getting screwed up by that fairy. Yeah, we're up to 3 bottles so far in the seed here. No sword. But we do have everything we need for Ice Palace. I'm still very curious as to when Malmo might decide to dip there. Also, he's going to check out the Kakariko. Will get that same equipment set. The mitts being the glove in Blind's Hut here. And then, where is the other one? K45. That's right. But also, getting the mitts and pearl this close to town, plus hammer off the shovel spot, I wonder if it's almost worth just going into Thieves Town from there, just dashing right back up. I mean, that certainly would fit what Osse's got going right now a little better. I wonder if he sees that particular line. I mean, the mitts aren't necessary for reaching Thieves Town. It's just it opens up that portal north of town, just making it that much easier to get to those locations. We get a green potion off of the Waterfall Ferry. Combined with half magic, there are a bunch of fights that are certainly going to be a lot easier thanks to that, especially if we continue to lack fantastic sources of damage like swords. You know, I'm wondering if Malmo even picks up this ferry here. I think she's standing right on it, so yeah, she'll get it anyway. I mean, yeah, the hammer is a powerful weapon, but it's often awkward to use and not the best for certain boss fights. Alright, so this looks like an eastern dip out of Malmo. And she does have the lamp, so it's entirely within logic. Technically, the Eastern Palace Crystal that Osse has is not in logic, but it will be as soon as he goes into Desert and grabs the lamp from there. Seeing some awesome Birna dashes for the start of Eastern here out of Malmo's side. Nice little time saves. Alright, so with Half Magic and Ice Rod, I actually imagine that Osse will finish off this dungeon here. He'll get the lamp from the key-locked side, which is the fire source necessary to get to Landmo. So he's got everything he needs to actually reach it, and the Ice Rod is a much better weapon to use to kill Landmo than the bow. It's a lot faster. And with Half Magic, you don't even have to worry about that much with missing your shots. And there's going to be a real decision point for Malmo as to whether or not to go for the big key chest in Eastern, as there is an item on Armos. That is something that Osse decided to do, is to skip that big key chest, save some time here, and gamble on the item on Armos. Malmo does not seem to be taking that same gamble. Not taking any chances on possibly losing more time to a re-entering the dungeon. Alright, there's those mitts for Osse. So will these early mitts lead to something in Ice Palace, or maybe even Smith Chain? Who knows? Alright, yeah, Osse is going back to Desert. We'll be killing Landmo here. Malmo does have to figure out some way of routing in Desert later on. Oh, but I guess we're hitting checkerboard first. That's right, we do have gloves. Doesn't have anything we really need, so gonna skip it for now. Actually, for forever. Okay, Malmo topped up on arrows. Gonna face off against Armos as Osse goes into the back of Desert. Alright, so what does Malmo decide to do after Eastern here? I wonder if this is going to be some blue potion buying? Oh, no, she didn't do Saha's Hut because she did the clip to Eastern first. That's right. So we are going to get these back 3 chests here. Sadly, there's not much back here, but... Oh, that last... Oh, one of those last 2 Ice Rod shots should have hit. Getting an unnecessary second cycle there. I'd certainly feel cheated by that. Alright, so Malmo's back up on the mountain. Doesn't decide to go to the top of Hera. Where is she going? I guess just standard Dark World. Okay. We do get a check here. Pendant Pod. Green Pendant Pod at that. And Pendant Mire. I didn't see which ones were the red crystals. It was a little too quick there. Spike Cave is actually open. We do have the invincibility items, plus Hammer and Glove. Nothing good on Bumper Ledge. I'll say deciding to go through the south route rather than doing any sort of DMD. Not even glitching off the mountain. I thought this was a glitched mode. Alright, so the red crystals are Turtle Rock and Thieves Town. That is going to be relevant until we find the mirror. As soon as you find the mirror, that doesn't matter anymore. Because we have a method of reaching the Pyramid Fairy without using the Big Bomb, as long as we have the mirror. Technically, there's also some not Cane Dash, but a Bugnet Dash method that is very weird. I don't expect we'll see that. We find the Ether Medallion inside of Hype Cave. And the Fire Rod. Sadly, on the opposite side of the world, where Malmo just exited Skull Woods, this will favor, I'll say, going up through. Going from south to north with the Dark World checks here. We'll be able to finish off Skull as soon as he gets there. Oh, that's right. Yeah, no sword. I always forget about that vine door. Who knows? Maybe we'll find one along the way. There's still plenty of places to check. Alright, we are taking a peek at Mire. We will be able to see which medallion we need. It could be necessary to enter Mire, to clip to Hera, to clip to Swamp, to open the front of Swamp so we can actually get through that dungeon. All because the small key for Swamp doesn't necessarily need to be in the first chest. Alright, so what is our Mire medallion? It is Bombos. We do not have that. There's our last bottle in Thieves Town. So we know where they all are. Plus, we do have a blue potion in there and hook shot. So blue potion, we like to call the melted flute, because we can use those on the overworld in doing a YBA to just summon the fake flute menu, even in the dark world, and use it there. Missed a bit with the hook shot there, as Malmo is making her way through the rest of Thieves Town here. Osse decides to not pick up the Smith because otherwise he won't be able to enter certain areas, such as Thieves Town or Skullwoods, until he gets rid of the Froggy Dwarf. Now, Osse actually has to hammer every single peg individually, cannot item dash through because he doesn't have a sword. You actually need a sword to be able to dash through all the pegs here. Sadly, it doesn't turn into anything. Alright, so we're nearing the end of Thieves Town here. Just have to kill blind here. Gonna use hammer strats. Hammer is a little more awkward to use, but we do have Birna as the backup in case the fight goes awry. Looks like Malmo is going to use that for phases 2 and 3 here. Certainly nothing wrong with taking it safe. Alright, so we're tied up on crystals. Malmo just has Landmo dead, has to kill Landmo to finish off Desert there. Still going to be awkward until we find that mirror to route that in. But also is pretty close behind. Not quite halfway done with these, but getting there. Wonder if Malmo remembers that you cannot hammer dash. Yep, she remembers. Got to go through every single peg individually. Ooh, doesn't quite get the God Pixel on Osse's side going through Hellways. Even though you are invincible, you still bonk off of spikes as if taking damage. I actually wonder if Malmo will pick up the Smith here. Maybe not until after doing Dig Game, but all of the entrances from here on out in the Dark World that I think she will go to are ones that the frog can enter. So it might be worthwhile to do that, to just start the Smith chain after doing Dig Game here. Even though we don't have Mirror. Possibly a Meyer check first. Gonna try to beat the clock and through there with 1 second to spare. All right. Always love to see that. Uh-oh. A little bit of a bad push block there. Has to reset the underworld room here in order to gain access to that chest. Alright, so which method does Osse decide to use for blind? Could go for a full burn a fight. Could go for... doesn't have Cane of Samaria. Because that was in Back of Escape that Osse has not been to yet. Right. Alright, going for hammer strats. Still able to take a lot of hits here. But gonna switch to Birna for the last couple. That was a funny little nose or trunk bounce that Malmo did using the talking tree there. Alright, so Malmo decided to not go for the smith. I wonder if this will be a front entry into Palace of Darkness after checking Pyramid, or even going all the way up to Catfish. Alright, so Osse is going for Dark World DMA. Dark World Lumberjack DMA, that is. We can hop in bounds from those clouds. Now, the clouds are actually very different on the Dark World compared to the Light World. The clouds are actually solid and partially water. Whereas in the Light World, they're empty and then partially water. So Malmo did not do the Spike Cave earlier. Osse is doing that now. Malmo did not continue all the way up to the Pyramid. Is possibly waiting for a mirror to combine those checks later on. Does have hook. Maybe this is a hook shot play. Still skipping out on the Spike Cave. Doesn't really have much, just a heart container. Alright, Osse decides to use one of his red potions, or one of his potions. He still has, I believe, the fairy, and got the blue out of Thieves Town. And he's dipping into GT right away here. Now, GT, all the chests in here, or rather, the entrance of GT, is available as soon as you find the Moon Pearl. But the rest of the dungeon is locked by its normal things, such as hammer, hookshot, and all that. But we do find a sword inside Hookshot Cave. That's our first sword of the run, while also finding Quake Medallion in the basement of GT. We don't know if that Quake is going to be useful for TR, otherwise it's going to wind up being useless. But that sword is a major find. Still need another one to finish off the seed, but having the one is great right now. There's our Bombos Medallion inside GT, so Meyer is now on the table. In fact, all of it is available at this point. Alright, so Malmo turning the Super Bunny and Hookshot Cave checks into a Catfish DMD. She could also turn this into going into the front entrance of Pod, if she decides to go that way. Nope, she saves and quit right away from the Catfish. Maybe wants to do Kiki Skip to make pod routing a little easier. Because with Kiki Skip, we wind up in Palace of Darkness while the game thinks we're in a cave, and an extra bonus of that is we have essentially 255 small keys, and we want to use, or ideally we want to use one of those to unlock the very first door in Palace of Darkness. But instead, this looks like a Spike Cave into Ganon's Tower play out of Malmo. So she'll be a little bit behind here. I think she was checking to make sure she had a glove or some way of getting through here. Also finds a sword inside Rando Room, so we know where 2 swords are. Also finds the mushroom. So we've got Bombos and a sword here in GT so far. So what are we even missing to finish off this seed? We don't need Mirror. Are we actually in go mode at this point? I think we are. I think with finding that second sword in Rando Room, we wind up inside go mode. At least on Malmo's side. Osse does still need that... Or, yeah, he still needs the Cane of Samaria from the back of Escape. And his GT trip might be cut short if he doesn't find the big key in these last 3 chests here. It won't be too big of a concern if it's not back here. And there it is. So he's at least able to climb all the way up and kill Aga 2. And I guess that's why Malmo save and quit after doing Hype Cave. Instead of going all the way up to Pyramid, she was opting to go all the way through Ganon's Tower, because she has everything she needed to be able to fully clear the dungeon after finding the Fire Rod inside Hype Cave. And is using the I guess, the duck after killing Aga 2 to warp you to the Pyramid to do that check right away. And actually, there isn't going to be anything important for Osse in right side GT. The best thing he could find is maybe a bow or a sword upgrade. But if there is nothing there, then he might actually wind up saving time over Malmo, because she could go and check those chests on the right side. Because he's only missing the Cane of Samaria to be in go mode at this point. And we know where that is. Yeah, he is missing the other sword, but that's in Hookshot Cave. That's not going to be too far out of the way to get, especially as T-Rock is a crystal. And while Mirror would be nice, it is absolutely not necessary, even for Swamp Palace. Nice use of Fire Rod to hit those couple of Zaziks in Room 3 of the Gauntlet. Here's Room 4, getting blocked by the Beamos. Starting to run a little low on health, doesn't have any sort of power still. Or, not power, but powder. Has a fairy in a bottle still, and the blue potion. Doesn't get the double heal and gets tagged by the Beamos, rendering that heart pickup worthless, unfortunately. I believe he's got a green potion. Unable to do the 1 cycle because of the short hop on the 3rd worm. Whoa. Bit of spam on that Fire Rod. Very nice use of the bow for the first Wizrobe room. Doesn't quite get the second room in 1 cycle. Still very good. Okay, so does Malmo decide to do right side, or is she going to climb right away from GT here? I mean, she is in go mode, so she doesn't need to check right side. And she is indeed going to climb. As Osse reaches the top, we've got a few chests up here. That cape might be nice for Osse in a couple of fights. Probably not too much more. Maybe the Ganon fight at worst. Not the best spot for finding the Book of Medora. Alright, so no silvers, no third sword. Up at the top of GT here. Now, I'll say he's still going to wind up opening a bunch of locations until he finds that Cane of Samaria and Back of Escape. I wonder if he'll wind up putting some of that off, as there are a ton of dungeons that he can go and complete now. Well, not a ton. I mean, there's Ice Palace, Swamp, Skull Woods. I mean, that is a lot, but it'll be interesting to see if he decides to hit Back of Escape first. Very nice double to clear out the fight. Alright, so Osse needs to go to the Back of Escape for a sword, and also needs to hit or not for the sword. Back of Escape is the Samaria, and the other sword is inside Hookshot Cave. He will likely not miss that sword, as that will be very easy to hit on the way to TR. But that does require actually hitting TR first. Alright, so what is Osse doing here in Hera? We're going to Hera pot here to save a little bit of time in climbing. Nice that we don't have the small key, making it easier to get the Hera pot here. Now, we do still have one item left in Hera. He's also on the search for the small key. I'm not sure if the small key can be on Moldorm. I think this might just be the other item of Hera on him here. Alright, so anyway, that is the second item of Tower of Hera. The small key, unfortunately, is locked inside the basement. We cannot use that to unlock Swamp. That small key that Malmo found in the Back of Escape could still be used, so that you don't ever have to actually enter Mire. Ooh. He's gonna have to... Osse does have to despawn that dead rock. It did wind up right in the middle of the bridge. Very annoying. And only some bombs on the ether tablet. Okay, this could be a Hookshot Cave play from Osse here. Or he's going to Skull Woods. I think this is Skull Woods from here. He's got the sword he needs. He has the fire rod. Malmo running into a bunch of trouble with these mini-Helmas in the ice. Little low on health, but shouldn't have too much problem with Aga 2 here. She does have the red mail. Ooh, not a good first cycle. It gets 0 hits. Third cycle looks nice, gets a double. Oh, nice. Also got a double stun with that one boomerang on the mummies there. Kind of neat. Alright, so Malmo finishes the Aga 2 fight also with a double. Unless I miscounted something there. Which is likely. I wasn't paying attention to the entirety of the fight. Alright, so Malmo can go on a dungeon clearing spree at this point, and I think she might go to escape just to begin the process of unlocking Swamp. I mean, she has the Meyer Medallion, and it's not that big of a concern to enter Meyer and just go straight for the Meyer Hera Swamp set of clips. But if there was a seed to use the sewer key, this might be one to do it. Looks like she's heading for Skull Woods first, following right behind Osse. Still has that awkward desert to hit because we still have not found that mirror. Nicely done with the hammer Mothula. He's rewarded with a blue boomerang. That's not the Cane of Samaria he's looking for, nor is it a sword. Alright, so now that he's done with Skull Woods, where do you go next? Well, I guess he's not completely done. There is one other item for him to find. And he's hoping it's here in the bridge chest. Alright, so where does Osse decide to go from here? This could be Hookshot Cave into a few things. It's looking that way to begin with. Malmo not getting some decent hits off of Mothula. A lot of them are getting canceled by the spikes. She's trying to use the Fire Rod as much as possible. But they are getting canceled. Still cleans up the fight. His reward with the blue boomerang and a blue crystal. Alright, so here Osse's getting his second sword. All he needs now is the Cane of Samaria and Back of Escape. Okay, with Malmo filling up on hearts, I believe this is going to be an Ice Palace play out of her. She's got the flippers, the mitts, the Moon Pearl. Entry into the dungeon is trivial. And she's got everything she needs to clear it. Including that Cane of Samaria to make it just that much faster thanks to Icebreaker. Now, we've actually had the capability of entering Ice Palace since about 9 minutes into the seed. And we're seeing it almost an hour in. Just everything else was so much better to hit. Having a little bit of trouble getting the Samari block over the peg. Not too terrible, though. So Malmo is currently in go mode. Osse needs to go to back of escape to pick up the Cane of Samaria. Otherwise, he is also in go mode. They both have Aga 2 killed. And Osse has a Landmo kill over Malmo. But Malmo has also begun Ice Palace, whereas Osse is just trailing right behind and does not have the Cane of Samaria, so he will have to do the Ice Palace bomb jump in order to get through the dungeon, which is going to slow him down just a little bit. Now, we haven't dipped into Mire or Swamp yet, so we don't know if we actually even need to unlock Swamp from the beginning, but we don't have the mirror, so it's going to be awkward to do that anyway. And yeah, with lacking the Cane of Samaria, Osse is going to open a lot of chests here in Ice Palace, and that is going to significantly slow him down here. Malmo's picking up a few, looking for possibly another sword upgrade and silvers. But isn't going to look too hard for them. And while Back of Escape is very fast, it's not necessary for quite a while here. I fully expect to see him unlock Swamp and actually go through Mire to do it before hitting anything with Escape. Now, Malmo did do the Back of Escape and found the Cane of Samaria. Also found a small key there, so she could use that to unlock Swamp without ever entering Mire. Running into a little bit of trouble with Colster, but she's got red mail. This is not really a scary fight for her right now, especially with them being low on health from the Fire Rod shots. Alright, so this is probably going to be T-Rock out of Malmo. Because she has not been into Escape to try to use the sewer key in any productive way. She may just be banking on going into Mire directly. It's not that slow. Oh, she's going to go for a bomb jump, or bomb clip here on the overworld. And then use the mirrorless laser bridge clip. Considering that she, of course, is lacking the mirror. It's a very crazy clip that acts, honestly, a lot like a mirror wrap, just not done with a mirror. Alright, Osse doing very nicely with the Fire Rod. Cleans up the Cold Stare Puffs a bit quicker than Malmo did. So now it's going to be an interesting decision point for Osse. Is he going to look at unlocking Swamp, or is he going to check out the Back of Escape? Maybe he's also somewhat looking for Mirror, just to make Swamp that much easier to enter. I don't know what he's got in store for us here. There's a whole bunch of different ways he could do this. He's going to Sanctuary. This could point to the back of Escape, putting him into go mode. If there was a time to enter there, it is now. Meanwhile, Malmo's still opening up chests, looking for silvers and another sword upgrade. At least up until now. Now she's also looking for the Turtle Rock Big Key. It could not be in the chest that she has done in Turtle Rock so far. Alright, there's that Cane of Samaria for Osse. Alright, so I imagine this is going to be a Turtle Rock dip out of him as well. He's going to be a bit behind Malmo. There's not a whole lot left to this seed at this point. Alright, so which way is Osse deciding to go into Turtle Rock? Okay, he's just going to, he's going to see if the medallion is even necessary. I probably could have looked at that earlier as we were doing some Catfish DMDs, but I didn't. I mean, we've got all the medallions anyway, so we'll be able to enter it normally. He's opting to go for a full front clear to the back. And while Malmo does look low on health, I believe that she is also looking to do a Death Warp. She does have a fairy in a bottle, I believe. So she'll have to be wary of that if she does try for a Death Warp to get back to Laser Bridge. Oh, there's the silvers. So he will have that for the Ganon fight at the very least. Both runners picking it up, one right after the other. Alright, so it looks like our big key is all the way over in Roller Room. Does really like to be over here. And once Osse gets that big key, is he going to mirror out and pot, or I guess Death Warp out? Alright, so there's the big key. Does Malmo remember the fairy? Yes, she remembers the fairy. And runs far away from it in order to get the Death Warp. I don't think Osse remembered the fairy. There it is. There's the Death Warped fairy. Gonna have to take a little bit more damage. Or is he just gonna go out the front? Which way is he gonna go from here? Looks like we're going out the front. He's got the small key that he would need to go through and just skip all the Laser Bridge chests all at once. But Malmo's in the Trinix fight. Going for hammer strats. Alright. Osse going for the Laser Bridge clip that Malmo did a little bit earlier. Now, Malmo does still have to go kill Lanmo at some point. Alright, there's the ice head down on Malmo's side. This is still very, very close. I'm not entirely sure if that run into the spike was intentional on Malmo's side there. Alright, so Osse's gonna check out these Laser Bridge chests, trying to find another sword upgrade. Using Magic here is pretty free. There is that full refill right before the Trinix fight. Now, actually, one thing that's very interesting for Osse here in terms of a route is if he does want to go to Meyer afterward, he's already opened up TR, and so he can just go right over and do the super drop and head right for Meyer from here. So that's an interesting possibility that he could use here. Meanwhile, Malmo's heading over toward Desert. Gonna do that Landmo kill. He's opting for some backdoor strats. Doesn't switch to Fire Rod fast enough. Has to wait for the explosion before going for the Ice Head here. Spamming the Fire Rod like a madman. Gets the Ice Rod, or the Ice Head, killed. So Malmo is considerably closer to Meyer from here. But back of Desert does still take time to do. It really is anyone's game at this point. I'm not entirely sure who is closer to Ganon. Yeah, I didn't even mention that we found the mirror on Trinex here. Not even going to be helpful for whatever swamp dip we try to do. I mean, there is the possibility of doing the... of just entering swamp from the front and banking on that 1 in 10 chance, but that's so risky here. Oh, Osse is going to try to use the sewer key here. Interesting. So he just needs to go into... he just needs to go all the way up to Dark Cross and open the door. He doesn't even have to open the chest, though I think he will. Just in case it's a sword upgrade. But once he has this key door unlocked, wait, yeah, then he can clip from here to sewers, grab the key rat key, and then use that to unlock swamp. Meanwhile, Malmo is heading into Meyer and is going to try to unlock swamp that way. We're seeing two very different approaches for getting swamp opened. Alright, so here's our Hera to Sewers clip using a bomb. Lining up with the crystal switch. Ooh, not quite getting it right. Bomb a little bit too far to the right. Having some problems with this lineup. Oh no. There it is, there's the clip he wanted. So now we're in sewers. He's got to go all the way back to Keyrat, then use the mirror. We're actually very lucky that the mirror was found on Trinex. Otherwise, this play would not have been very good to do, considering the amount of health we have. Malmo has to go and get these small keys from the spike chest area. Is also technically searching for some sword upgrades. She's got the fire rod equipped, so there is one more chest she's going to be able to check here. Oh, nope, she doesn't hit the crystal switch. So she's just going straight to Hera. Meanwhile, Osse does already have the small key from Keyrat. So he is a little bit ahead at this point, provided he can get the spin speed clip. Oh, he's just doing a bomb-based setup for Hera Pot. Not even messing with the spin speed. So he's in the fairy room just a little bit ahead of Malmo here, who is trying to do a dash clip. She's in the fairy room right behind him. They both have a singular key. Osse going for the bomb clip, gets hecked by the mini Moldorm, is going to go for a sword buffered clip, gets the first inputs very good. There's the sword buffered clip, come on, there's the diagonal there, he's down. She's going for the dash clip again, in the middle of the dash here. Gets her diagonal, she's down, right behind him. Both technically inside the swamp filling cutscene at the same time. Now, interestingly, we're going to be able to use the fake world to get into the dam area quickly. Although I think we're going to wind up using mirror portals, just because that's going to wind up being faster than clipping through hair and all that stuff again. Osse gets the diver down a bit quicker than Malmo here. So he has pulled a bit further ahead. Alright, she's got the clip going. She's got the diver down. And Osse has Swamp unlocked with this key here. Alright, so yeah, he's got to mirror here. That'll be the fastest way into Swamp. Has to mirror twice because we are in fake Dark World there. Actually, Malmo's in real Dark World. Yeah, he's got to go outside and drain the dam. Meanwhile, Malmo can just mirror once. We are actually tied. We're just about tied. There's Osse using the mirror to the light world. Malmo's also mirroring. We're both going into the dam just a couple of seconds apart. I think this might come down to Ganon execution at this point. Ganon and Argus execution. We're so close here. This is insane. I mean, there's not even that much to swamp here. Just really the one diver down. Okay, Malmo's still opening up a couple of chests, hoping to find that sword upgrade. The sword upgrade could speed up the first couple of phases. If we're lucky. And yeah, with finding the big key in the first chest, that does mean that Meyer was technically required, as far as logic is concerned, for entering Swamp. Ooh, there's the Swamp small key, hidden inside the big chest. Now, unfortunately, those two chest checks did put Malmo a little bit further behind. Osse going for Smari Base Diver down, gets it fast. Still on the hunt for sword upgrade. Alright, Malmo's right behind. Doesn't get slowed down by a spin. Still no sword upgrade. Argus is the last chance to be able to find Tempered here. There's no other check that our runners will do to find this sword. Oh, the small key actually does help Malmo there a little bit. She doesn't have to go swim and get it. So that's pretty nice. Alright. Going for some spin speed pokes on Osse's side, cleaning up a lot of the puffs on that first cycle. Has just a few left. Ooh, misses with a silver shot. Misses with another. We got an archery contest here. 3 shots down. Gets it on the 4th. Malmo just about to clean up phase 1. Will she be a bit luckier with the arrow shot here? No, misses her first shot. Gets it on the 2nd. Saving a little bit of time, getting closer. Oh, and Malmo lets the crystal bounce? What are you doing? Alright, so we're in real Dark World here. We just gotta dash to the pyramid, kill off Ganon, and we're done. Alright, so Osse's going for the Hammer Bridge item dash. Malmo does the same. Oh, Osse is pulling out the Cane of Samari. We might see some interesting strats here for the first couple of phases of Ganon. Gets 3 spins off on the first Trident throw. We're up to 6 spins on Osse's side. 8, 9, 10. Not quite able to close out 12. Now, is he... No, he doesn't wait here, so we are starting the Fire Bat phase. Using the Cane of Samari here. That's 3 double spins for Osse. 4. He's not able to do too much more there. So a little bit left here for phase 2. Alright, so he has enough hits on phase 2 there, I think. Alright, so he's done with phase 1 and 2. Malmo busting out the cape to try to speed up phase 2. As Osse is dealing with the warps. Okay, Malmo a little low on magic. Has the lamp, but I don't think that's going to be a concern. Alright, Osse 3 sides down on phase 3. With Malmo with 1 side down. There's the last side on Osse's side. Gets a silverless hit. Goes for Torch Glitch. 1 silver arrow. 2. 3. And the last one is 4. As Malmo enters the final phase of Ganon here, gets 1 silver arrow hit. Osse finishes with a time of 1 hour, 16 minutes, and 14 seconds. Finishing off this third round, 2-1 against Malmo in a very, very close game. This was a very nice watch. And there's the last silver hit for Malmo. All that's left is the fanfare and going over the bridge. And she finishes with a race time of 1 hour, 16 minutes, and 53 seconds. Wow. Less than a minute between the two. Very close there at the end. It mostly came down to Osse just being faster with the last couple of boss fights. Using those Samaria strats against Ganon. Getting a very fast phase 1 on Argus, although phase 2 for Argus on Osse's side was a little bit slower, taking 4 shots instead of Malmo's 2 with those misses. We actually are joined by Malmo here. Congratulations on finishing that race. Wow, that was close.
Yeah, I mean, there's ever a race to go out on, that's the one. I'm really glad I got a basically Chex Human versus Purity Wong in my own bracket. Makes the tournament that much more exciting. Sad that I don't get to face Krithel in finals, but that's okay. We have plans.
We're also joined by Osse. Congratulations on closing this out 2-1.
Hey.
Hey.
GG, Malmo.
GG. That was a good race.
So, Malmo, you're going to be excited to hear this. Osse unlocked Swamp using the key rat key.
Oh my god, I spent my entire go mode thinking about which one I should be doing. And the thing that got me not to do that was still having to do desert and being able to just go straight into Mire from there.
Yeah, for you that worked out a bit better. It actually wound up being very close in terms of time. I think the sewer key actually wound up being a little faster than entering Mire, even though you were right there at desert.
It's good to know for future games.
Yeah, it seemed really hard to judge, but I couldn't even go for it before I got that mirror on Trinex.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, the mirror made it faster to do Sewer Door because you could actually mirror back to Hera. I also considered going up here to see if I could find a key but I felt like that was a little bit too risky. When I had 2 options, that would guarantee work.
Small key for Hera actually wound up inside the basement, locking itself.
Nice. All right.
So,
Bye.
so you were down to either mire or sewer.
All right.
Yeah.
And then at the time I was in go mode, and then I found bombos. So at the time I was so glad that I didn't spend my sewer key.
Mm-hmm.
You may have seen me linger on my select menu when I found that, whether I should go into Dark Cross knowing guaranteed there's an item there. But I don't know if Mire's a crystal yet, and I don't know if there's a key available in Hera.
Mm-hmm.
I guess as for me, I became worried when I found that cane and the easy 3 chests. So that was my go mode.
I mean, the only thing it really slowed you down on was Ice Palace. That was the major slowdown for you on that.
There's a sword on Ped.
Oh.
Okay. I found out that I was in sword go mode when I was in Spike Cave. I didn't know I had the ice rod. I didn't remember picking it up. When I menued to hookshot, I saw the ice rod and realized I was in go mode with just a sword. So I wouldn't have done Spike Cave. And Spike Cave, I think, was a long enough check that I would have pulled it out. Like I would have
maybe.
Won,
actually, I don't think that's quite enough. I mean, it's not that slow of a check. I don't think it's 30 seconds worth of a check.
You might be right.
It might be
about that.
close. Yeah.
It's close though. That's a tough one. Like I definitely did more sword checks than I probably should have done after I found silvers.
Actually, I think what could have saved it for you was that Spike Cave check, and then also not pushing the block in the Mire hut.
Oh, you know why I did that? I was writing down my mired medallion and wasn't looking at where I was going.
Yeah.
But I would have had to do both of those. Like that was a dumb little mistake. And the soft lock on the bridge, and oh my goodness, every little thing counts when you're this close.
Yeah.
I like the races that are 5 minutes apart and you don't have to worry about those things.
Yeah.
I really don't like the soft locks that can happen in this, so I try to avoid it. So that was part of my Turtle Rock routing, where I didn't want to jump down to Laser Bridge because I'm not super confident in it.
Yeah, you looked a little hesitant at it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, both of you kind of did, but that is one that's easy to screw up, and if you do, it loses a lot of time.
Oh, I didn't screw up that one. I screwed up just crossing the mountain. I dashed too high and got yeeted into the water. And if you have the flippers, that's a soft lock.
Yeah, this was in the light world heading over toward East Death Mountain for the first time.
Yeah, I got to get one soft lock in, right? That's my thing. Every single race has had a soft lock.
Well, my first trip to East Mountain, I was really worried about dying to everything that moved.
Yeah, you didn't really have a whole lot in terms of weaponry at the time, so
the swords.
It was rather tense.
I've forgotten how late the swords were. Like
Yeah.
it wasn't. I got red mail. It wasn't. I was never in danger, but not having a sword slowed me down because I kept having to dodge stuff, shoot arrows at things, bonking into dead rocks on the mountain because I just couldn't defend myself.
I was still on 3 cards green mail when I was doing Mountain.
Oh dang! I had the game 1 was taught me a lesson. I didn't go to the mountain this time until after Kakariko. But I exited Kakariko still having only 3 hearts, which is kind of funny.
Yeah, the first major bit of health that either of you got was from a Paradox Cave. Because I think you went from 4 to 6 hearts or something like that, Osse?
Yeah, I was getting hit by the Moldorms and then picking up hearts out of the chest so I could survive.
Oh my goodness. Just living hand to mouth.
Yeah, when you guys got the fairy bottle off Zora, I was wondering if either one of you was going to forget about it when you came time to a death warp, and we're not entirely sure if you meant to die there in the roller room, Osse.
So clearly I was trying to die, but then I remembered that would give me the fake Dark World.
Ah.
And so I couldn't jump to Laser Bridge if I did that.
Right.
Oh,
So
because
the
you-
ferry really did save you there. Wow.
Wow. So you did a different TR route. You didn't do mirrorless.
He did after opening the front and checking roller room.
Okay, which was a time save in this seed
Yeah.
because of where the big key was. Wow. Okay, that's kind of cool. Rare case of that being a time save, but that might have also made a difference.
Mm-hmm.
I can't believe how full my inventory was, considering I go-moded 6 dungeons.
Well, yeah, congratulations to the both of you. Also, I believe you're facing off against Purdy Wong in the semifinals
Yeah, good
for
luck with
round
that.
4.
Yeah, Bird Long looks hard to beat. He seems really good at the mode.
He beat Chex.
Beat checks really hard to beat, really good at the mode. So that'll be tough. Malmo self is also a strong opponent.
Mm-hmm.
Like I expect Malmo to have routed better than me in a lot of these, and it feels like she did.
Routing is the only thing I have going for me. Not an execution player at all.
Well, it still served you well here.
Yeah, routing. I mean, my routing, I was happy with my routing in the seed.
Mm-hmm.
Like, checking Sahasrara kept me from going to pod because I was going to blind dip it. So I went to Sahasrara and talked to him, and he told me pod was a pendant. So it saved me several minutes.
Yeah, neither one of you entered pod at all, which was pretty great. And other than unlocking Swamp, you didn't really even need to go into Mire.
Mm-hmm. This is going to be a 0 pendant seed, other than just the tiny dip into Tower of Hera until I had to do Mire to Swamp.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I cleared Hera just by not thinking about what I was doing.
Well, I figured that you were kind of looking for the small key for Swamp anyway.
I was.
Yeah.
I want
It
that.
just unfortunately wound up in the basement. So I normally ask this question out of people who are dropping from the tournament from here on out. I have a feeling that you're going to play more hybrid glitches.
Am I going to keep playing glitch modes? I don't know,
I think you will.
No, you know my next seed is going to be a cross keys. I promised that when I was eliminated, I'm going to do a cross keys. So sometime
Okay.
next weekend, I'll be doing one of those. But then I'll go right back into the glitch, because of course I will. One thing I will be picking up is co-op all dungeons RMG with Krithel, and that's going to be a lot of fun.
Oh, sweet.
I'm going to have to learn the new route for that. So kind of a little motivator to learn the new route.
Wait, Krithel knows the pod basement clip. Are
Yeah,
you guys
I don't think we're doing user route yet. I'm trying to convince him to do it, though. He can do it. I bet he can. But the thing that's stopping him right now is the hover.
Wait, what hover?
You have to hover to the hammer and back.
Oh, right.
It's
right.
awful.
Because that's all in K-state. That's right.
I mean, you don't have to, but you lose a lot of your time gain if you go around.
Yeah. Dark Maze is slow.
At that point, you might as well just do Hera Basement. And of course, I'm going to keep running the tournament because I have to. It's my job. So I'm not out of it yet and just not running in it.
Right.
I'll do lots of comms. You're not done with me yet.
Anyway, be sure to give these runners a follow, and we also want to thank Professor Pixie for tracking this race for us. We also want to thank SpeedGaming for hosting this for us. We're always appreciative of being able to do these restreams. And thanks again to the two of you for putting on a fantastic race for us here tonight. That was such a pleasure to watch overall.
Thanks for comms. I'll be watching it back right away.
Alrighty. Have a good night, everybody.